course, but at the end of the day, we getting some moisture that we needed. We need the liquid, we need the water before we really just dry out.
I'm excited for this gorgeous shot we have going on right now.
I know, it's just good. Yeah,
it looks great, and the weather's starting to look great too. Sun is out right now, and we're looking at some great changes here in the days ahead. Some 80s in the forecast. Can you believe it? After dealing with 40s and 50s, and we're still dealing with some cold temperatures out there now, and we have one more night here, some really cold weather heading our way. But a live look right now showing across the state we are dry. We've got no rain out there. We had some cloudier conditions earlier, but look at this. Gorgeous blue sunshine right now, where temperatures currently sitting at 55 degrees with mainly sunny skies. You can see those snow-capped mountains after many of those high elevation areas picked up over 6 inches of snow over the weekend. And now we are still dealing with some chilly temperatures as we head into the evening. We're down into the 40s in many areas back out towards the west. Could see some freezing cold temperatures overnight. After reaching the middle 50s for highs today, look at this. Rising temperatures we're expecting as we head into Thursday. Friday looking nice. The holiday weekend forecast looking nice as well. We'll have all those details here, and we'll let you know if we have any rain in the forecast that's coming up in the next few minutes.
A situation that could easily be mistaken for a thriller movie plot happened to a family in MILLCREEK, Utah. The family says their daughter's boyfriend held them captive for 6 months in their own home under the threat of the cartel. The issue is, according to Unified Police Department, the suspect does not have cartel affiliation, and what started as a romantic relationship ended in 28 felony charges. Earlier today, the Unified Police Department held a press conference to explain the bizarre case. Take a listen.
You know, I think for everyone, coercion is different. You know, I can't speak on this family in particular. I think that will come through in the interview process, but coercion can work for different people in different capacities at all times.
Well, it doesn't stop there. 23-year-old Dominic Garcia accused of defrauding the family, taking their money under the same threats. The victims told police he had numerous business ventures they were required to financially participate in. Now, the family complying to all out of fear due to Garcia being armed at times. Now, he forced the family on a month-long road trip through the state of Utah and continued the abuse.
He confiscated and inspected victims' phones within the family, threatening and pointing weapons at them when he discovered any outside communication. He was physically abusing the victims, including holding the victim's head underwater in an ice bowl as punishment and making another stand nightly watch until about 5 a.m. to monitor the residents. He also imposed a rigorous boot camp on one of the family members, requiring multiple daily workouts, sometimes lasting up to 2 hours per session. He repeatedly claimed that the relatives were involved in the cartel, reinforcing his threats and manipulation. He also abused the family pets inside the home.
Boot camp. You heard that correctly. Even the family pets were involved in all of this. You may be wondering how the 23-year-old controlled a family of 7. 2 parents, 4 adult-aged children, 1 child, 17 years old. Sergeant Race addressed coercion. When she was asked the same question, she brought up an interesting angle about this.
You know, I think for everyone, coercion is different. You know, I can't speak on this family in particular. I think that will come through in the interview process, but coercion can work for different people in different capacities at all times.
So Unified Police Department has made it clear that the suspect, Dominic Garcia, is accused of many things, including manipulating the victims to submission. Again, not believed to be a member of the cartel. Our Ariel Harrison went to retired Chief of Police turned private investigator Chris Bertram to learn more about the use of those tactics. Take a listen.
And again, varying degrees of how much you may know about the cartels. You know, there are people, you know, in our Hispanic populations or that are from Mexico that know firsthand what the cartels are capable of. There are others that maybe through, you know, the news or through education or through family members have an idea. And there's others that really don't know and it doesn't really affect them. When you look at those 3 groups, you know, we have differing degrees of how intense that is. You know, if you're back east and you're 20, 30 years ago and you're talking about organized crime in your neighborhood, that could be a real thing that you understand, and it could be in some cases a real threat. In this case, we're out west, and we have populations that are familiar with the cartels and understand that reach that they may have and the violence that they may be capable of. And so an individual using that as a way to duress or keep people under control can be very significant, right? That psychological manipulation, psychological leveraging that they do in these cases. And it's interesting because I had another case that involved a homicide years ago, but the individual believed that this person was involved in, spying in the intelligence agency, and they would come home, dirtied or injured or things like that to say that they were out on an operation. It's significant. And people, especially if under the right circumstances, they are put in the right context. We create, as I say, the right theater for them to believe what is going on at that moment in time. It becomes very, very real to them. And it's interesting because I think from our perspective, when you're standing outside of it looking in, you're saying, this doesn't make sense. I've had people come to me and say, well, there's a guy, he's a spy. And, what he's saying and things like that don't necessarily make sense. But from my perspective, especially when I was in law enforcement and had a clearance, it was difficult to go and inquire about those. Because if I'm inquiring, they're asking me, why are you inquiring about that? If he in fact is in that organization. But what I find is a lot of times people are just using that as a leverage against other people. And it becomes very real to those other people. In this case, it was very real to them. And if I put on that theater of, the fake interrogations and the other things, and they appear, hey, I don't know if they're real or not, but they seem real. And what he's saying while I'm under duress really is what I believe. It kind of becomes, and in this case, it kind of becomes a multiplier, meaning this happened and then this happened and this happened. It's got to be real.
What should people do if they find themselves in a bizarre situation like this? It's not the first time it happened. I'm sure it won't be the last.
No, and I'll just say this, proactive things that I think are good is, one, find your support systems, and don't find them, find them beforehand. We all know that there are people that we trust, we can go to and talk to. It may not be a big group, maybe one or two and maybe a few more, but we've got to have those trusted people. They may be parents, they may be siblings, they may be best friends or close coworkers, but we have to have that support group that we can reach out to, because it's amazing when you're in that situation, and we all face this in some respect, a breakup or, a loss of a job or, a traumatic event in our lives, and that we cannot see past the next 5 minutes. And yet we bring in those trusted people and they let us know that things are going to be okay. It's going to hurt. We're going to grieve. We're going to be angry. We're going to be sad, but eventually things will clear. But when you're in that moment, you don't see that happening. You don't see it happening in 10 minutes or 10 days or 10 years.
Well, in the end, it was the family that ended this. Police documents say they held Dominic Garcia at gunpoint until the police arrived and took him away from their home in cuffs. Garcia faces nearly 30 charges and is held without bail. Just last year, you may remember another hostage situation when a foreign exchange student disappeared from his host family in Riverdale. Investigators say the teen was being targeted by cyber kidnappers to send them money, or they would hurt his family back in China.
Basically, if you don't do exactly what we say, then your parents will be in danger, because he's talking to him not in person but over the phone, and they're from China. He's believing he's doing these things here in the U.S. to protect his family in China.
The boy was later found in the woods near Brigham City. Police say the cyber kidnappers were based out of China and forced the boy to send them about $80,000. The boy was eventually reunited with his family and returned to China. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, new hardware in Lehi roads, how the city is using it to collect data about people's driving. New safety measures are being implemented along Lehi roads. City leaders are trying to get a better picture of how extending curbs affects people's driving. Natalie Wattis spoke with some of those city leaders today looking for answers.
Generally, we do have speeding problems. We'd like people to follow the speed limit, especially near our parks and schools.
The city of Lehi decided to take on a project to study how changes to the road, like making it narrower, can slow people down. After seeing Park City do a similar thing, they began putting these plastic poles into the road. So how are you guys collecting data? What does that entail?
We have traffic control devices that they attach to the pole here. It's a camera that counts cars and measures their speed.
They've also taken 24-hour video here to see how pedestrians respond to the change. So far, this is the only place the poles have gone in, but the city has 5 or 6 more sites in mind.
We'll be doing one at a time. So this one we expect to be here for 2 weeks. After people get more used to it, we'll collect the after data and then it will be removed.
I think that's a very good thing to be doing because children are not always watching where they're going.
I reached out to other cities in Utah that have had concerns raised about traffic, like Kearns, where a 12-year-old was hit and killed while biking to school in late February.
And we are looking at that area again of what we can do better, because we can always do better. We can always do things differently.
Kelly Bush, the mayor of Kearns, said they have done restriping of roads to slow drivers down and routinely do studies for things like speed bumps. I asked if putting in these reflector poles is something they might consider.
But I am very interested in the poles. That's an interesting method. So I'll be talking to my engineer about that after hearing that from you.
The city of Lehi says just because you see these poles in a specific place doesn't mean that they're going to be there permanently. This is just the testing phase. In Lehi, Natalie Wattis, KUTV 2 News.
You know, I love it when we can share our information with other people, as we did with the city of Kearns there. Memorial Day on Monday marks the start of the 100 deadliest days in Utah on our roads. Last year, between Memorial Day and Labor Day, 14 pedestrians were killed on Utah roads. Last July was the deadliest month on record, 42 deadly crashes. In total, Utah Highway Patrol responded to 91 deadly crashes over those 100 days. 61 of those crashes involved just one vehicle. Last week, several members of the Santaquin Police Department and their spouses flew to Washington, D.C., attending the National Police Week in remembrance of Sergeant Bill Hoosier. The group, including members of Sergeant Hoosier's family, says it was a powerful week filled with reflection, healing, and meaningful growth for everyone involved. The Santaquin Police Department says they're grateful for the unwavering support of their community. Well, let's get to our forecast here. Meteorologist Sean Kelly will be with us in just a sec. I think he's over there. So, as we transition here, this may be the big transition, I think. End of May, we're going to warm things up, Sean. Is this where you're thinking this time of year it's maybe here to stay?
I think so.
I
think so, yeah. We're heading in the right direction. And you know what? This is coming in the perfect time because of the holiday weekend as we head towards next weekend and Memorial Day. Wonderful weather in the forecast. We've got 70s and 80s, and it's actually turning out to be a really nice evening right now. Look at the clearing within the clouds. Blue, sunny skies out there. It's still cold. It's still jacket weather, but 56 was the high temperature today, 20 degrees cooler than where we should be for this time of year, and we're still into the middle 50s right now. With the clearing of the skies, we're going to see these temperatures drop quickly here through the overnight. We're already at 42 in Park City, 49 in Rock Springs, 59 in Vernal, 55 in Delta, 58 in Cedar City, 50 in Panguitch, 79 in St. George. A little bit of a breeze here out of the north right now, 20 to 30 miles per hour across much of the state. 40-mile-per-hour winds in the Bryce Canyon area, but at least across the Wasatch Front, the winds have died down quite a bit. We've got a busy evening here and overnight for strong to severe thunderstorms in some areas here that typically see it this time of year, but active weather continues on. Could see numerous long, intense tornadoes here through the overnight in the same areas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas. You can see all that lightning right now associated with that, large hail, damaging winds, and again, intense tornadoes possible there. Meanwhile, we're drying things out after seeing the rainiest day of the year so far. Yesterday morning, picking up nearly 3/4 of an inch of rain here in Salt Lake City. You'll see we'll be waking up to mostly cloudy skies tomorrow morning. We're going to be dry, 99% of us, but further up towards the north, out near the Idaho-Utah border, we could see some scattered light rain showers, especially back out towards the western part of Wyoming, but generally drying and cold conditions overnight, especially back out towards the west. We'll get close to that freezing mark. We'll get there in the Park City area, Evanston, freezing cold, and Heber close to it in Nephi. So a chilly night ahead, and you'll need that winter jacket early tomorrow morning. But watch what happens by tomorrow afternoon and evening. We're back up close to 70 degrees for much of the state. So it's going to already start to feel a big change in a good way with the sunshine and that Memorial Day weekend forecast here looking good. And Saturday could see an isolated shower storm, but generally looking really nice. In St. George, we're dealing with temperatures into the 80s and 90s as well. 97 on Thursday. Warming things up, heating things up, and look at all that sunshine as well along the Wasatch Front. We're dealing with temperatures through the next several days, warming up into the 80s. Some golf weather there Thursday, as I was picking Thursday. Friday, 78 degrees. Saturday, a stray shower or thunderstorm. But again, right now, Memorial Weekend looking really nice. So that rain arrived at a perfect weekend here, heading to the hotter weeks ahead, and dry for anyone who's going to be out and about.
Couple things for you here.
Yeah.
Thursday, I will be out at Thanksgiving Point Golf Course, which is in Lehi, one of my favorite golf courses in the area, extremely difficult, for the Alema Harrington annual recovery tournament that we've been playing in a number of years. So if you're out there, you want to say hi, do that whole thing. Second thing, you showed the radar there of just our intense storms, the tornado activity in the middle part of the state. My wife actually just flew over that. Said the turbulence was unreal, and it was extremely uncomfortable. Not a very great flyer she is, but she does it quite a bit. And mentioned just how gnarly looking it was, really. And I know that these have created a ton of damage, and there are communities really under watch tonight.
Right, and she's lucky that her flight didn't get canceled or major delayed, because I know that because of these storms, a lot of the flights are being delayed, and even if it's not going to that part of the country, it's getting delayed. And
Sure. Well, it's a trickle-down effect.
Exactly. But yeah, it's been pretty intense here, and the worst kind of tornadoes as well are the nocturnal ones, the ones that happen at night as well, when you can't see them.
Don't have the visual.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm always glad we don't have a very frequent tornado sort of anyway activity here in Utah. Very rare, but we get them once in a while. All right, thank you, Sean. So, still ahead here on Arc Salt Lake, 2025 Salt Lake City Summer League is set for a temporary change of scenery due to the renovations at the Delta Center, where you can see those in the association play in July. For the 10th year in a row, the Utah Jazz are hosting the Salt Lake City Summer League because of the renovations at Delta Center. Games will be played July 5th, 7th, and 8th at the Huntsman Center. That is on the U's campus there, up on the hill.
Yeah, the Jazz, along with the Memphis Grizzlies, Oklahoma City Thunder, and Philadelphia 76ers, will compete in a 6-game round-robin event. These games showcase incoming rookies, returning young roster players, and select free agents.
The organizing committee for the 2034 Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games are in Ogden, meeting with city and county leaders. This is the first stop on the committee's listening tour to discuss what host cities might need for the games.
Those venues will host 40% more events in 2034 than they did in 2002. So we're going to have more chances for Utahns to attend events, participate in these Olympics than they did in 2002.
Snow Basin Resort is set to host the Alpine events in 2034. There's also plans for Ogden to host a rodeo during the Winter Games.
Should add video of you skiing the Olympic run there at Snow Basin.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
See you tomorrow night at 7.